So, the surprise I have is actually I'm doing a interview. I'm now starting in my first interview with Sakura. This is like the first podcast thing. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
How's your day been?
It's so funny. I wasn't prepared for anything, so that was interesting. Um, my day. I slept. That's how my day was. I slept a lot.
You
The
slept a
mo-
lot.
yes, the moment I got home, I passed out in bed until 7.
Huh.
Yeah.
So for the people who know, and for the people who just don't don't know you, because this is absolutely going on YouTube. Tell them who you are and what you do and what you're all about and do what you will, all that good stuff.
Yeah, of course. So if y'all don't already know, I'm a Twitch streamer, kind of full time and a YouTuber also part time, but full time I am me. I am a student at a high school somewhere in the globe. Bootylicious T Baker the Third. That's gonna be the name for everybody. Yeah,
Anyways, next question.
yeah.
In your professional opinion, if you
Mm.
had to choose, what animal is superior, dogs
Oh.
or cats?
Oh no. The superior animal.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. So if we're going on furry based, right? The hybrid is the best. It is superior because it's bulldog and cat. Because yes, they're adorable. It's extra cuteness and also sassiness. But we're going based on human terms. I'd probably go with cats to be honest.
Okay, so question.
Yeah.
You mentioned off the furry thing. Question.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's up with furry? With furry
But
use?
for like, what is it about, or
Yes.
like, what do you want like specifically to know about furries?
Because I know that uh you're in the furry community, yes?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. So explain that.
So,
Just
do you
talk
want like
about
the definition, or do you want like my experience of being in the community?
talk about how you first got into the community and then your experience in the community, all the ups and downs and all the stuff about the furry community, honestly.
Yeah, of course. So it kind of all started. So I didn't really know what a furry was until 2016. So before then, I always wanted to have really cool Halloween costume, like a unicorn, right?
Mm.
I think it's called equine in the community or like overall, other stuff. But I wanted to be like a unicorn or like a really cool looking unicorn cat thing. And I didn't like any of the costumes that I found online because it wasn't authentic to me. So years later, 2016, I found a video online. I just stumbled across it on YouTube. I'm like, oh, what's this video? I was so curious because like, why not? I clicked on it. I'm like, oh, this is really cool. It was basically a bunch of furries walking around. I'm not too sure what the video was or what it is about, but like I was like, oh, this is really cool. So I started looking into it more and watching videos. So I found like YouTubers like Pukari Roo, I think that's how you pronounce it, and then some other YouTubers as well that are in the furry community. I'm like, oh, this is really cool. So by 2017, I was like, I'm
Oh,
a furry. Yeah.
keep talking. You're good.
Oh, you okay?
Yep, I just felt. Ah, oh shit. All right, continue.
Bestie.
Continue.
Okay. So that's pretty much how I got introduced into the fandom. So it all just started from research, and I wanted to make sure I knew what it was because I didn't want to just join a community without doing my research on it. So I read articles, um, both good and the bad ones, and I tried to find articles that were pretty neutral on it. So I read like studies of the furry community and how it has like a mental effect as well, and then what the community is overall. And I really liked the positive side of it. Of course, there's always the
Mm.
negative side to every community, so I took that into account. So I'm mainly a part of the safer work side of the fandom because that's just me. I don't like 18 plus stuff. I want to be 18, but I don't like that shit. Hell no. I ain't like that.
Yeah. Uh,
So
yeah, I've heard about that stuff. Is that something that people? Is that a misconception that people have that the furry community is just
Yeah.
that?
So a lot of people have misconceptions that furries are just sexual, like fucking like sex hogs. We're not.
Mm-hmm.
We're not all like that. Because you're gonna find any kind of weird person, any kind of like sexual person or like bad person, right? Whatever your definition of bad or weird is in every community. Like there's like that whole drama in the My Hero Academia community where there's a bunch of shipping between characters and it was a crazy mess, which I won't go into because I don't know too much about it. I just know what happened. So there's an issue in every community, and for us the misconception that we're just sexual, it just stands out the most, which is kind of sad because there's a lot of good sides to the community which have been really helpful in my life and discovering who I am. Like I wouldn't have known that I was all of my gender identities and my sexuality without being in the community first, because a lot of people in the community are also a part of the LGBTQIA plus community, so it helped me kind of explore who I am. So yeah, that whole misconception kind of takes away from like the good sides of the community that really bring out your own character. At least for me, anyway. That's my experience. Is that it just brought out the little inner child in me, right?
Yeah, understandable. Understandable. Well, that's very interesting. It's a very interesting backstory, and I'm glad that the furry community has become a, a safe space, right?
Yeah, it's a really nice safe space for a lot of people who may be shyer. Like some people who wear fursuits feel a lot more comfortable with it. I know I feel comfortable.
Mm.
Like I'm making a suit right now, right? And the overall suit is pretty heavy and I have some sensory issues, so it being heavy is like very calming. So some people find the suits calming or they find it kind of comforting to like, be themselves within a character, right? Because you get to make your own character essentially. So you can make a character based off of yourself, inspired off of another character. So it's very creative and expressive. So that's like the really good side I wished media would talk about more. And I know there are some YouTubers who are non-furs that are trying to bring light to this, and it's really nice that they're, asking questions and, not just going
Yeah.
up to somebody and saying, "Hey, do you like sex in suits?" You know?
All right. So I got a question.
Yeah.
What would you do if someone gave you a button and said you can win $1 million if you press it, but every time you press it, you age up by one?
Ooh, you said $1 million, right?
Yep.
Okay, so, ooh, I'd probably press it maybe like 5 times.
5 times.
Just five. Just five.
Why?
So I wouldn't press it multiple times because I don't wanna like age too fast because I want to be in my 20s. So if I click it 5 times, I'll be in like my mid 20s, starting early 30s. But I'll have money, so I can go to college, you know, um, buy myself a fursuit and make
Uh,
suits and then all kinds of shit, dude. Get good equipment, get myself an apartment.
Actually, that's not bad. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
But like, what if that money dries up and you need to get more money from the button? You know?
No, because I'm gonna be smart. I'm gonna invest my money first before I start spending it, so I won't have to press it more than 5 times.
Okay. What was your upbringing like from the beginning to now?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. So some of it, of course, is personal,
Yeah,
but
of course.
my upbringing. So I'm living with my grandparent, rest in peace, grandpa, and my mom, all in the same house. I don't live with my father because he can go in a hole somewhere. Um, but I was brought up by my grandparents and my mom, and that, and my mom's side, Asian, my dad's side is Puerto Rican. So I mainly grew up on the Asian side of my family. Only knew my mom, so they're all kind of old schoolish,
Mhm.
kind of old fashioned. So I was kind of brought up around pretty intelligent people. My grandpa, he was friends with a lot of intelligent people. Like one person owns their own business. I can't say what it is because privacy. Um, and someone else who's also pretty up there as well, very successful. So I had to. My upbringing was like very like not rich, but like very polite. I learned to be very polite in my life. So I was mainly a people pleaser. That's kind of my upbringing, but also
Uh-huh.
to um be also to educate myself as well. My mom, she always tried to expose me to all kinds of things throughout my life. Like taking me to the art museum to learn about art. It was just mostly that. I can't remember too much of what I did when I was little, but it was a lot of art projects, which is why I'm like so creative today. Because of all those projects and ooh, also STEM projects as well. I love robotics as a young tiny child,
Mm-hmm.
little tiny Asian baby. So I was like, "Hey mom, want to do it? Can I make robots?" So she put me into a class to learn about robots, and I made like a little Lego robot. And then when I was a little bit older, she took me to a giant museum uh, that had that has a lot of equipment for classes for gaming, learning how to 3D print, cosplay, etc., etc. So when I was little, I wanted to also make video games.
Oh wow.
So I took a class to learn how to make a game. I think it was two classes, and then another class, which was like a 3D print thing. She's like, "Hey, let's go do this class." I'm like, "Okay." I said yes because I'm like, why not? It was like a free road trip. So we'd go, I learned how to like do this thing and I made a cute little car and a cute little robot.
Mm.
And then on other days, like this was like back in the day, I'd go to SeaWorld almost every weekend with my mom as well. So it was a lot of exploring and kind of having fun and just, being me.
Mhm.
And then we went to Discovery Cove one time.
Would you rather fight a bear or a gorilla?
Bear.
Why?
Cause why not? The giant bear, dude.
Okay, what if it's a bear and her cubs attacking you versus a gorilla and just the gorilla?
What happened?
Would you rather fight the bear even if it has its cubs?
Oh, so if it had babies, maybe not.
Well, you gotta pick one of them. You gotta pick one of them. Either the bears or the gorilla. What you picking?
But like, that's kind of hard because I don't want to take the babies if I
Okay,
fight
okay,
them.
okay. Let me set the scene. Let me set the scene. Let me set the scene. You go
Yeah,
camping. You go camping. You go camping one day, one night, one day, one night, one night, one day, one day, one day, one day. All right. You go camping and you pitch your tent and you go for like for a nature walk. Maybe I don't know. You walk. Anyways, you go for a little walk and then you see two baby cubs just sitting there out in the distance eating some berries or trees or something. I don't know what bears eat. So you see them, and then you
yeah,
notice in the distance you see their baby, huh, their mama, their baby mama looking at them,
yeah, yeah,
and the baby mama, she's looking at you, looking at them,
yeah,
and so you start to head back to your tent. But on the way back, you start to hear something in the trees. You look
yeah,
up, and she a gorilla
yeah.
looking down at you. So
Mm-hmm.
now you try to go back to your tent, but you see the gorilla hopping from tree to tree, going from tree to tree, following you back to the tent. Now you don't want to lure the gorilla back to the tent. That's your campground. You don't want to lead him back there. That's bad. That's bad. It's bad.
It sounds like a horror story.
So
Oh my.
you change direction, and then you try to lead the gorilla away from the tent. And
Yeah,
the gorilla starts following you. But then guess what? The baby mama bear and her cubs that are riding her, they find you. So
yeah.
now you
Oh,
have one or two options. You either
yeah.
one, head back the other direction away from the baby mama bear and have the gorilla just follow you until eventually it wants to fight. Or two,
Mm,
fight the baby mama bear and the cubs and just dip the other direction.
I
Now
fight the
what do you
gorilla.
do? You find the
Where,
gorilla?
yeah, but where'd the gorilla come out of? Where did he escape from somewhere?
Yeah, okay. Let me set even more context up. The gorilla was raised by the baby bears. And so the baby
What?
bears raised the
Wait,
gorilla
wait,
until
wait.
it was a
So
full grown man bear. and then the
Wait,
two
wait,
baby bears
wait,
grew up into mandingo bears, and
wait.
then one of
What?
the bears is got married to another bear, and the bear was female, and then those two bears they got together, and then that's the
Yeah.
baby mama bear because the dad bear didn't want to be with the baby mama bear, so he left the baby mama, and so now it was the gorilla looking after the baby mama and the baby mama's cubs, and so the gorilla hides up in the trees, watching, protecting them
I'm not.
from a distance.
That's kind of sensitive. What am I supposed to do? Fight the mom or fight the dad? Alright, so my conclusion: I fight gorilla, then I become new protector of family. Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, so you're a Twitch streamer, right?
Yes.
Talk about how that whole thing came to be and why you're doing this. Because why?
So it's kind of an interesting story. So my mom's work friend, or ex-work friend, they're still friends, but they don't work together anymore. But at the time when they were like co-workers and whatnot, they were friends. I'm like, "Oh, go talk to my bestie, right?" So I was like kind of talking with him as well. And he's like, "Oh, I'm a Twitch streamer." I'm like, "Oh, what's Twitch?" So he convinced my mom to let me get Twitch, right? So then I downloaded Twitch and I started watching his streams. I'm like, "Oh, maybe I could do some Twitch streaming. It sounds like fun." So I was like, "Hey, mom, I got Twitch now. Can I start streaming?" So after lots of more convincing from the work bestie to my mom and from me, I then got Twitch, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how the whole journey started. So then I spent so many hours figuring out how to set it up on my computer, how to make it fancy looking. Like I did artwork for it,
Oh, snap.
for my about page and whatnot. And then I started off with a really beginner program, not program, software called Twitch Studio, which is a very beginner friendly kind of streaming software.
Mm-hmm.
And the first game that I ever played on the channel, I'm surprised I remember it still because I almost forgot. It's been such a long time. So the first game that I played was Dauntless. So I played that on the channel. So it was literally just that and a PNG picture of one of my characters, Halo, the OG version of Halo, where it's pink and it had kind of jade looking eyes.
Ah,
So that was the first game I ever played, and then it just kind of took off from there. So I did a couple more streams on Twitch Studio until I got comfortable with streaming, and then I switched over to Streamlabs, and that's when I got my new mic and everything. Or later on, I got my mic as I started using Streamlabs more. My mom wanted to surprise me with it, and I taught myself how to set up Streamlabs, how to get myself moderation bots in the chat, how to set up timers, commands, all that fun jazz. And then it just started to build more and more, and I played games like Valorant, Destiny 2. I think I've played as well a couple of times. VR chat, the desktop version. And what else? Minecraft. That was fun. That was fun. And what else? Oh, Black Desert as well. That's one of my top favorites. There's this really cool character in there that I absolutely love. It's like an axe and everything. But anyway, that's how I kind of started. It was just from my mom's friend getting Twitch and say, "Hey, you should get Twitch and watch my streams." I'm like, okay, and then
wow.
I started doing it, and then it just kind of evolved from there, and I started building up my community, um, and just kind of vibing with everybody. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it.
So, what's the end goal with Twitch exactly? Like, what's your goal with Twitch?
So when I started, I didn't really have a goal. I just wanted to do it for fun. But of course, I wanted to, build up my channel towards the affiliate status, which I now have. It took a whole year to get it. But I got it.
Shit.
And it was
Wow.
really awesome. So I honestly don't really have an end goal with Twitch streaming or, doing stuff online. I just want to do it for fun and, create a really safe community. Um it's it's kind of like how the furry community was for me, so I want to create a really comfortable safe place for furries, non-furs, anime fans, all kinds of people within my community, and just really create that space where people are allowed to openly be themselves without being ridiculed for being who they are. So that's kind of my end goal. How
Follow,
about you?
follow Sakura Lee underscore Sun on Twitch, on
There you go.
Instagram, on fucking. Are you on anything? Oh yeah, you're on YouTube. follow on YouTube, on Twitch, Instagram, YouTube. Is that it? Is that it?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for
Alright.
having me. I really enjoyed the time here. And I love the questions, by the way. I absolutely love them and how like deep they were. I'm like, ooh, this is nice.
No problem, no
'Cause I'm a very
problem,
deep person.
no problem, no problem, no problem. I'm a very weird person. But it was nice having you actually. It was really nice having you.
Yeah,
Able
thank
to pick your
you.
brain a bit for all the
Okay.
for all the interesting intricacies about you. It's very interesting.